Daz, AC. Hello. Harand, hello. I have many a pink shirt. I sometimes wear a pink shirt on stream, but it's a pale pink, and with the lights, I probably looks like a white shirt. I think I might own probably as many pink shirts as I do white shirts. This is a very pink shirt though. It's my consultancy shirt. Connor, hello. Queco World, hello, 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 hello. Fun one today. It's fun one every day. Obviously. Need to figure out SSAO, so I think it's going to be a render doc kind of stream today. It's almost working. Like it looks a little bit SSAO-esque, just not quite what we want. Indeed, there's too much ambiance, and we must occlude some of it. It's just I don't know, maybe that's just an in joke, but when I worked, one of the companies I worked at, which was effectively a consultancy, but you had technical people and consultant people, all the consultants tend to wear pink shirts, but then I started wearing one, so maybe that's wrong. Julian, hello. Okay, let's start. Let's see where we got to. What we working with, because I think it's nearly there. So, bright. So if you like, we have like, I like how it's also including the lines, the debug lines, which I guess have a fragment screen space position. But like that looks like occlusion to me, right? Like that's we be occluded in there. I just don't understand why it's kind of like it's not applying it to all of the screen. There's like a weird overlay, right? Because I remember this. Now this is weird. Why is the pause screen not doing black and white? Matthias, hello. Like, I feel something is wired up incorrectly, because we've not changed any of this. The pause screen should still enable the grayscale post-processing effect, and it's still blurring it. So I feel like there's a wiring issue somewhere, maybe? Maybe? Because let's just have a look. Hello? What am I doing with my life? Render. Okay. So if we go down here, we render the entities, we render the debug lines. We could probably move the rendering of the debug lines till after we down to after SSAO, maybe. Anyway, I don't know. What's happening in 7? Is it only 7? What's happening in 7 streams? Is that the end of the year? There are only 7 streams left in the year? No. No. God, is it... Hardcore, hello? Oh, is it a year since we started? Oh, interesting. Maybe. Yes. I mean, decrypting memory is like decrypting anything, right? You need to know the algo. Hey, you need to know the key. I can't really. With sufficiently high entropy, it'd be impossible to determine what the algo is, though. So we're not doing HDR, so we can sack that off. Oh wow, crazy. We'll see what we can do. Okay, so we're sowing here. Okay, we got the input textures. But there's no SSAO on the. What's the pause? Where is the pause screen controlled from? Is it the Lua level? Where's... I can't remember where any of this code is now. I feel like there was a separate routine for this. Maybe not? It's the main menu routine, but I think this is different to... where do we set the SSAO thing? Where do we set grayscale? Here we go. I'm kind of confused because why is that still... no, I've never watched Unreal. So in the game, okay, when we get the escape key, that turns on the menu. So it sets the game state to port. It flips the state. 1, 2, 2, 1. Right, but why is it not still doing SSAO? Is what I'm saying is that should permanently be on. Does that make sense? Like there is nothing. This will still be running every frame, right? So I think I'm just going to have to look at this in render doc because something does make sense. So it should be doing the grayscale pass regardless. Let's look at the pause menu under this. Yeah, because the whole point is like everything should look the same as it was before, just grayscaled and blurred slightly. So it doesn't make any sense to me why this is in color. I'm a big fan of ARM assembly. I think I don't know it as well as x86, but that's not a terrible thing. X86 is just a bit of a hot mess. Like, there's just so much to it. I much prefer a simpler architecture. Yeah, this is it. Blur is working, right? So why is it not gray scaling? So we should have... So we've got our color pass, right? So this draws everything with our 3 render targets. Bish, bash, bosh, 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 bosh. And then we blip them out. And then we do this. So this has the 2 inputs, right? The screen space normals and the whatever this horror is, the screen view space positions. Indeed. I much prefer a fixed width instruction size. Yes, indeed. I think that's how it's supposed to be. But I do also like a 1 byte NOP and a 1 byte breakpoint, so I guess I can't have it both ways. Okay, so this horror here is definitely our... Why has it got so many outputs? Am I going mad? It's got 2 inputs, right? FS0, FS1. Output, FB0, FB2. And a depth buffer. Why is it? I think the code is fine because blur is like if the state is running, then we'll change it to pause and we'll grayscale and blur. If it's paused, then we'll disable these and make it running. I guess, yeah, I guess. Is it just writing them to all 3? Do I need to set the read and write buffer then? Or do I just need to add a single output? I probably just need to add a single output. I need to add the layout. That's it. Okay, well, let's do that first, because I think that's an easy fix. So let's simple frag. So we need to do e samples, nope, e assets, SSAO frag. And we basically want this, right? I think that's all we need. Gonna pack that way while we keep looking at this. That's fine. So that's that. Then this one here should be the grayscale. So it should be grayscaling this, I think. So let's just check what this pipeline state FS view. I mean, that's definitely doing grayscale, right? So why is the output for this? Okay, fine. So the output for this is the grayscale of this, but it's already grayscale, so that's fine. And then we do the blur. I feel like the blur's got the wrong input, right? It's not taking the previous stage's output. This doesn't actually fix our issue, I don't think, but it's still interesting to see. Curiouser and curiouser. I also largely don't know how to fix this, so I think it's going to be a case of bashing our head against it and seeing. Oh, that's already better, right? Oh, it's got a weird shadowing effect, but like, why is this? It's upside down, isn't it? Is it upside down? Yeah, I think we need to try and not invert the and that's still not doing what I think it's doing. Okay, fine. Well, that was interesting. So let's. I think the issue we had is here. Let's do. Try that. So let's not invert that. Let's try. Because we're negating that. Let's try that. I haven't made any changes. Why is it rebuilding everything? Outrageous. Next project. Better resourcing loading. Better debug resource loading. Did I just do make rows? Yeah, okay, fine. that? It's worse. It's back to what I had before. So that's not the fix. Isn't there another minus? I can't. Where's the article? Where is the article? Let's check against their code. Okay, right. So let's compare and contrast. Oh, what is this website? Right, come on. Give me some shader code. Give me some shader code. Don't care. Do not care. Ah, so we had this, which that's what I changed, right? And then where's this sample depth? So, interesting. I also, right, let me just try reverting that. And then like that. Nope. I know I build them in different configs, but there's no reason. They should all be cached, right? And I've not changed anything. There's no reason I should have to rebuild all these artifacts every time. Because it doesn't do it on the other one. It's interesting that changing the output targets made a difference. Yeah, learnopengl.com is great. Probably. Oh, sounds like an expensive decision to make. Oh, I don't know. Is this? Are we doing it? Is this it? It looks like. Ah, I see. Okay, well, I think it really doesn't like the skybox. I don't know how to. Why is it doing that to the skybox? Like, it must be interpreting that as position. Right. Okay. Well, I want to. Yeah, we need to fix that. Also, I'm trying to think, like, I think I can probably afford a few more samples. That's why I think 32 is a little bit low. Let's do for 64, because I'm gonna have to probably blur it anyway. So let's make that while we think about how we're going to. So we now need to combine them. Yeah. Yes, I need to render out the alpha. No. Because you render the skybox first is the problem, and then everything else on top of it. So I'd have to figure out how to composite those. So just render the full skybox, then and then have everything else as like a alpha 0, so you can composite on top. I do have a basic box blur, but let's just combine them first. So let's. So I don't know about OpenGL, but in C++, if you have a literal, that is a double, so that forces it to be a float. I guess it doesn't make a massive difference, but when I am pretty obsessed with using auto keyword, I would then end up with a load of doubles. So I've sort of muscle memoried myself into typing F everywhere. I don't know whether that's right or that's wrong, but that's sure the situation I'm in. So what I want now is how do I get the syntax highlighted for GLSL? Good point. I assume I I think there's a plugin, the Neovim plugin, or one of the plugins that does the syntax highlight. Is it Tree Sitter? Is that what that is? I definitely remember installing a thing. Okay, so let's do e assets. Not criticism. Like, people should definitely hold me accountable and ask why I do the things I do, because not all of them make sense. So SAO apply dot frag vs assets simple frag. So let's slap this in here. So we're not going to have. So the only inputs we're going to have are what, the text quad, I guess. And then we're only going to have one output. And then we're going to have two inputs, which will be the scene, which will be the pre-rendered scene, and then there'll be the SSAO. Try and remember to get them in that order. I don't think we need any of this chuff, because this is all done. So go down to here, and then we'll literally just color equals text that, and then occlusion will equal that, and then frag color will be color times occlusion. So just darken. If it's white, then you'll get the full color. If it's black, then you'll get none of the color, and if it's anywhere in between, you'll get a gradient of that. There is definitely a VS Code extension for this, because I've used it. But when I used to use VS Code, I used it. So yeah, you definitely. There's definitely horrors in this code. Yes. Oh yes. Okay, so let's start getting that packed into the resource hole, while I go and make an absolute mess of the renderer, because that. SSAO apply material. Feel like this could be better architectured, but here we are. Okay. So this will have the. I think I can just reuse SSAO vert, because I think it's the same, and then SSAO apply dot frag. And then, so somewhere in here, we're going to want to keep using. Oh, hang on, I've got to get this right now. Which? So we've written to the right frame buffer. So the right frame buffer now has. So I think we can keep the swap here and basically just kind of reuse. This is like all good renderers. It's a little bit grim. So SSAO apply material, bind the sprite. SSAO apply material, SSAO apply material. So this is going to need in the scene, which is what we previously rendered out, which went into splitted that into the it wasn't the read. I think this is now in 2. No, wait a minute. It's still going to be the same. Got myself confused. It's I know where it is. I know where it is. That's 2. And then we're gonna go to this main frame. It's still in the main frame buffer, right? The main frame buffer is still. Oh no, because didn't we have to? It's multi-sample, so we had to render it out. Okay, fine. No, I am getting myself confused now. So we render the whole scene. We then blit those down to the post-processing frame buffer 1. So it's wait a minute, I know where it is. I keep saying post-processing frame buffer 1 are 0, because that would be the color texture. I would have bound the right which means I now actually be writing. I think I need another frame buffer, don't I? You still have to GL bind, I think. Yeah, I need another intermediate frame buffer. I think I'm just trying to convince myself that's correct, because I'm not just applying one. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. That's fine. And then renderer. Right, definitely try and get this right, because I've gotten this wrong before and it's a massive pain. Probably don't technically need a depth, but it's all set up to make one. I just need 1, right? So we're always here for the shitposts. Right, okay, fine. Let's try and make this a little less shite. So this works fine. So this will take the. I really should change these, shouldn't I? This is the. Read. Oop, got my precedence wrong. Oh no, I know why. Because that's the frame buffer. No, ignore me. I know what I'm doing. Okay, right. That's why I didn't do it. Okay, so let's not swap these. Let's try and figure this out. I need to unbind the right frame buffer, and now I need to do SSAO apply frame buffer dot frame buffer dot bind. Okay, and then clear that. So that should set that up to render to the SSAO apply frame buffer. yeah, there's not stone trouble. Like I wouldn't. It's highly unlikely I would have chat on and be interacting with it if I didn't expect to ask questions. So you don't have to worry about that. I could be miserable by myself and program this, or I could be miserable with a bunch of people and talk to them as well. So it's kind of, you can infer from context that I'm okay with it. Okay, so unbind the previous bound writ buffer. Bind the SSAO apply buffer. So now the inputs to that need to be the previously written to is that now? I think is that now right? My inputs are the original color buffer and my output, which is right FP2 because it comes to this color texture, I think. And I don't. Am I going to need a blit at the end of this to reset up the read and write for further post-processing effects? Because after this is done, right? SSAO EIO buffer now has the composite one, which I need to be the input for the next one. So I think I now need to blit that over to the read frame buffer for the next read in. Yes, I thought so. Oh, I know what I'm doing. So let's swap that, and then we'll go SSAO frame buffer to the post-processing. Well, it's not necessarily that. I want the read frame buffer native handle. So frame buffer SSAO apply frame buffer, and I'm like, I don't have. Do I still? Hang on. Read FB. Jesus Christ. Widths. Oh, get there in the end. Right. That's it. That's all we need. You just have a third resolved FB to take stuff from. I don't know, because I feel like now this I don't have to change everything else. It just keeps going back into the, because I really want to keep the post-processing pipeline as the sort of ping pong between the two buffers. So I really don't think this is too bad. Oh, what did that? Oh, of course, because I was changing the code as I was building this. Ugh, full of regret. Need to come up with a better build system next time. From the start. So I have Telescope installed, which is I use as leader SF. So SF shows me all that allows me to fuzzy search for files. Space is all the buffers I have open, and space SG is live grep. So if I want to sort of search for everywhere I've used SSAO, then I can do it here. So that's my kind of controls that I mainly use. I just want to see if I can get it running now. Right, make run. Fingers crossed. We'll have SSAO, and it'll look amazing. Might need to, I don't know, maybe stylistically increase the radius a bit, just so you can definitely tell it's like there. Oh, 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 that looks depthy. Might turn the lines off so I can get a better idea. That's pretty good. That looks even good without even blurring it. But yeah, that looks... Yeah, that's... Right, that's... I'm going to... turn those off the correct way by just commenting out the code. I also want to do... What I'm going to do is I'm going to make loads of changes now and absolutely regret it. Let's SSAO on the menu as well so we can see that working. And then Lua level ambient. I want to just make this just a little bit brighter. I think the comment out code, I think it was just a code fold. I think it was just collapsed. I'll double check, but because I think immediately after... Oh, we've got HDR. Oh, that's probably why it's so dark. Isn't HDR off? Moody. Also, the lights are broken at the back again. And the grey, oh, I've got loads of bugs to fix now because still not grey scaling. I think that looks pretty. Kind of. I know. I will blur it. It is messing with the skyline a little bit as well. Look at that. Got to fix that. Oh, I've got loads of stuff to fix. Let's go up to where we set up the scene. I suspect. Yeah, okay, let's put HDR back on. Because HDR is already on the menu screen, so that's what it'll actually look like. But with slightly different lighting parameters. Yeah, no, you're right, HDR's been off for a while, because I wanted to bring the post-processing... Is that lighting right? I can't tell. I'll tell you what is balked though, is that these walls should have a normal map on them, and they certainly... I don't think that's normal mapping. I can't tell, is that... Oh, it might... I don't think that's normal mapping. But the floor is. The floor's got a nice normal map on it. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Is my ambient occlusion gone? Where's my ambient... Where's... I spent 3 streams working on that and I've already lost it. Oh, and I don't get any blur. Right, the pipeline is absolutely shagged. Like, this is it paused. I'm wiggling the mouse. Like, there's no blur or... What is going on? What is going on? I feel like I should commit some of this up. Okay, let's just commit up. Is that no? I was expecting there to be. Yeah, thought so. Right. Good. First attempt at SSAO. It's not really the first attempt. It's a little bit of a lie. Append. Yes. Right. Okay. Now let's figure out what's going on. It's just so I can go back to this. I don't normally do it, but it's just so I can go back to at least this stage when I thoroughly balk it up in a second. Right, let's... No, don't say that. It's dead to me. Let's see what's going on. Because this is, I don't think has HDR applied to it. Simeon, hello? Right, let's see if we can get a good shot. Let's get a good angle. Like, I definitely don't have that ambient SSAO anymore, do I? It's definitely gone. So let's capture that. And I'll take, so this is the pause menu as well, and I'll take capture of that so you can compare the two, and we'll have a look at what we've got. Okay, so we've got our main color paths, texture view. We do the draw things. I think that's still right. There's still screen space normals. The color, screen space normals. Blit and a blit and a blit. And then we clear, and then we draw the elements. And the inputs to this are this and this, and the outputs are still 3 of these. Interesting. Interesting. But that looks pretty legit. So what should come after this in the code? In the render, in our renderer pipeline, we have SSAO, and then we have, yeah, I just closed this, so let's just open this up. So next should be HDR, and then grayscale, which we don't have, and then blur, which we don't have. So it should go straight into HDR. So it should, well, actually, there's technically a substage, isn't there? It should apply, it should do the application. So that's it doing the SSAO. Then for here we have, oh, it's done it. Yeah, I almost certainly have got a binding issue. Then we blitzed that out, right, to this. So this should be the input for the here, which it is. And then that's the HDR output. But this has got it applied, and it's hard. I don't. It's this final blit to the back frame buffer is wrong, right? Because this. We are blitting from texture 155. So what's writing to texture 15? What is texture 155? It's this, isn't it? Which is the final. That's 150. Oh, but it's the downscaled one, isn't it? So it'd probably be this. Yeah, okay, fine. So what's happening is we are outputting this here. So it kind of suggests the swapping is wrong. I don't want to swap them at all, actually, do I? Because I'm effectively doing 2 passes, they should remain the same afterwards, I think. That looks a bit better. Oh, there's no SSAO on that. Nope, that is... This deal is getting worse all the time. So we downsample. I wonder if I need to reset these as well afterwards. Sending this bit to the right buffer. Yes. Yeah. Guys, it's so much like state management juggling misery, this. Okay, I think I need to kind of walk this through and convince myself it's doing what I think it's doing. So this downsamples the MSAA, the multi-sample buffers to single sample buffers, each color attachment. But I do leave these. I think. I don't think it'd hurt to reset these afterwards back to the main color attachment, right? I don't think that's going to hurt at all. I'm just going to see what that does, because it's a state machine, right? So there will any other operations potentially operate on that? Question mark? Okay, well, it's only to make it worse. Oh, did you? Oh. It definitely was an issue. Well, that's one problem fixed. Not entirely sure I can tell you why, but it sure is one problem fixed. But I still right. Okay, fine. So reset that state. Okay, we then set up 2 ping pong post-processing frame buffers, so we can read from one and write to the other. The read one has the previous fully rendered stage, and the write one is effectively undefined, blank. No, I'm not sure I want to do any of this, so I'm just going to go through it. So we unbind the read just in case it is bound, but I don't think, because the main one was definitely unbound there, so that's fine. So we then bind to the write, because we're going to write from that. We clear the write. We then do from the post-processing buffer 1, color textures 1 and 2, which are the downsampled. We know this works, right? This is the downsampled position and normal data, screen space normal data. We unbind that write. I feel like we never bind anything again to write to. Okay, this is... Oh no, sorry, we unbind the right buffer, and then we bind the SSAO apply. So what we're going to do is we're now going to take that first output and our new output and combine them together. So we're going to use the SSAO apply material, and then we're going to stick into here the 0th index from this one, which was the original color output, and then the 0th index color texture into the second one, which was where we stored our result. Again, we have seen these combined, right? So let's say apply, we draw, that's fine. We then, or I then, whether I'm right or not, I don't know. I then blit into the no, I think this needs to be the read buffer, right? You're right, I do need that. That's not... I get myself confused. I've just replaced one word with another word, which is the wrong one. And then I want to do SSAO frame buffer dot frame buffer dot unbind. Yeah. Okay, right. You mean a torus? So this will now copy everything to the read buffer. The read buffer on the next HDR effect will then use that as its input and then write to the write buffer. I think that... Tori? Not the Ori, which is the final villain in Stargate SG-1. Alright, there we go. I do feel like it should be, I don't know, should it be a little bit occludier? I suppose it's supposed to be a subtle effect, and it is a little bit subtle. That I could do without. Does it need to be more? Do I need like a bigger radii on it? Radius? I suppose I should really make them tweakable, shouldn't I? And then pop up something like a GUI thing I can tweak them with. It's just... I don't want to. It's just the way I've unfortunately constructed it, is I have no real choice in the matter. Yeah. One thing at a time, right? So that's assets, SSAO, frag. What dials do I have? I've got nice hard-coded size there. Let's remember to change that. So does the radius make it bigger? So if I do like 50% bigger, is that gonna make it look a little bit more spready outy? And then we'll go and fix the skybox. Now we can put SSAO to bed. Well, I might have to go back and blur it at some point. Yeah, I think my question is more like, what is the visible effect of tweaking those? Yes, you are correct. I have chosen to ignore that. Very much chosen to ignore that. oh, an hour in and basically got SSAO done. I don't know why it's not applying it here, or is it applying here and the barrel is just too high off the ground? I think I can see it. I think that's a bit better. It probably does need a blur now though. It still feels like that barrel is just there. I just feel like I know what I really need is shadows, because it just feels like it's not prominent enough there. I don't know if it's just... Oh, can't you here we go. I think what I can also do is this. I can just make it a bit stronger. That seems what the article suggests. It doesn't give me any idea of what power should be. Whether it should be less than or greater than 1. I assume greater than will make the value larger. And then because I HDR it, it might just work. And then I guess as well, in main menu, where do we load up that initial barrel? Here we go. That should probably be... Where's barrel center when it's at home? Hey? Oh, here you go. Yeah, it's way too high. Stylized at that point. Isn't that when all the graphics go wrong? Don't you just say it's stylized? Part of the aesthetic. Nailed it. You see, I think that's a little better. I think if you blur it and remove some of those artifacts, I think it feels a little bit more... I've convinced myself I can see that a bit more around the barrel now. We can tweak it more later, but I feel like for now it's almost a game now, right? We've got sound, we've got physics, we've got post-processing effects, we've got fake shadows. I mean, the fakest of shadows. That's cool though. I like how you can even see it on top. That's nice. I need to fix the right. Things to do. Fix the skybox. Fix the normal map, because that was definitely working much better than it was before all this. Oh, even the ceiling's got a bit of depth now. That's nice. I think that definitely pops out a little bit. Yes. I was talking more in just terms of the graphics nonsense that we've got to fix. Because I feel if I shuffle this barrel up to here, I could have sworn we had actual normal maps. Normal mapping. Oh, that's a good point. What we could do actually is wire in a key press, which just turns, because all the post-processing effects are runtime, we could just have a key press which just turns them on and off, like this does. And then we could easily take the exact same screenshot. Right, let me comment up this because I feel like this is at a pretty good place now. If this is the first stream you've watched, then you've kind of jumped in halfway through like a mini sort of sprint, for want of a better word, feature, trying to get the screen space ambient occlusion working. It's where you basically artificially darken areas that are close to each other to simulate light occlusion, so you get more depth. I had most of it working last stream. It was just finishing off, so this unfortunately is a bit of a very much a part 2 from the previous stream. So let's do. Yeah, sorry. I just because I knew I wanted to get it done this stream, I did just launch into it with very little preamble. So thank you for calling me out. So that's yes. So fix SSAO. Okay, so that's done. This is just twiddling values, isn't it? I did say hello, yeah. Twiddle values. One of my best commits. It's probably gonna be some sort of puzzle game. That's where it's going at the moment, and where it has been going for a while. Like you saw the barrel. Let me do a quick rundown. You saw how the barrel moved. The barrels move, or different barrels move in different. I mean, it's not interesting at this point because I've been staring at it for so long. But in theory, interesting ways based on your movement. So at the moment, this red barrel here moves when in lockstep with you, except when you're not looking at it. So if I don't look at it, it'll stay where it is. So if I stick it on this corner here, then I'm like, what's that over here? It's still there. But then as soon as it's in my vision, it moves. And the aim of this is to get it to that target. So kind of blamed it myself now. And this will crash because there's no set. Oh. I have not changed anything. And now it's loading a second level that I didn't know I had. That's exciting. I've got loads. Got levels for days. The game never bloody crashes it when I want it to, does it? Oh, this game's out to get me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Ooh. What? There we go. That's what I wanted. Anyway, there's a bunch of levels where things move in different ways, and the idea is you have to try and get to target in this sort of warehousey space. Yeah, exactly. I feel like the camera's too high for the menu. I just wanted to see if I can super quick fix the menu now. So in terms of the graphics stuff, we need to fix the skybox. We need to blur the SSAO output. What else was there? There's something else. That's the look. Because that's the look at, isn't it? I need to. No, wait a minute. Which one's the? I can't remember how my own camera works. Position. Yeah. Why is this not like going way much? I want it to go way much more down. What was the artifacts that we had? We had normal maps. That was it. The normal maps are broken on the walls. The skybox is trippy. And the shadow should probably be, the SSAO should probably be blurred a bit. Why is this not, why am I fundamentally not understanding how any of my code works? Do I move it somewhere? Ugh, ugh, I hate everything. Hate everything. No, I'm having a good time. The high, the dopamine hit of solving SSAO is gone. Sure, whatever. I don't care anymore. It's good enough. I wonder if this does now need to be a little bit darker again. I think it's because I made this. I say I don't care. I obviously do. I should, on this project, I should be better at fixing broken stuff as I see it, rather than be like, I'll come back to that later, and then inevitably never doing. And then by the time I see it again, I've lost all the context that I had. That would have made it easier for me to fix had I decided just to fix it there and then. Okay, that's better. So now I just got to change that rando -10 to, I don't know, like -5. They work on the floor, but a few streams ago when we had them broken and then fixed them again, and I remember it being very obvious on those grey pillars that it was working. Like, I don't know if it's just the lighting now. Shuffle this guy along a bit. Like, I seem to remember very obvious that this wall had like a normal map you could see, and I just don't think it's there anymore. Right, first things first, let's fix that blue skybox. So what's the issue? Other than this like absolutely hard-coded mess of rendering code. I really should pull out some of this stuff. Anyway, skybox is rendered here first. I don't really understand like the kind of obsession with rewriting everything in Rust. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't use Rust. I think, why can't we be writing like new stuff in it? Do you know? Like, is it worth the effort? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we can write new stuff in it. Okay. But I have very little opinion on Rust because I've never really used it. But no, well, that was a lie. I have never used it. Really used it. Outrageous. So I don't know. I have no opinion on Rust because I've not used it. I have lots of opinions on C++, and they are not all positive, but I have definitely used that before. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm rendering out the whole skybox first with the depth mask enabled because I render everything into a tiny cube. What's the solution here? Can I just render this like later? Is it enough for me just to go right here? I might tidy up that render a bit, I think, because it's making me a little bit sad just how gross it is when there's a lot of duplicated code, which I by and large do not like. Oh, nailed it. Just sorry, this is the night level, and it will all be taking place at night. Non-hacky solutions does not render it as part of the main pass. But this is that now. Like, I'm not. The cost of rendering the skybox is quite small, so I'm not that fussed about all the optimizations with it. Considering we've now got lots of other post-processing effects. Yeah, I'm not doing it as part of the main pass. I was doing it because something optimization. I can't remember. How was this working before? At the end of what? After I've done the SSAO? Also, I just realised I've got nothing bound here. That's why. Can I just like write this into the read buffer? Let's see. We'll see. I don't think the menu has a skybox. I think if you look out the window, it's all nighttime. Yeah. I guess because I don't have any depth information at this point, do I? Because I've rendered out. Get myself a little bit confused here. So because at the end of this, the read buffer has the combined SSAO gubbins in it. So I just want to write to that. Do I then discard every fragment which doesn't have an opacity? If that makes sense. The problem is I am now guessing a little bit. I think I might have to look at this in the old render doc and see what's going on. It'd be nice if we can kind of get all this wrapped up today, though, so we can go and do something else next week. Yeah, it's not happy, is it? Let's start again. Launch application. Launch. So we Right. So we split those out. We do the SSAO pass. I feel like this should draw. This will be it here. So the inputs for this are our various faces, upside down, of course. And then what are the because that is rendering our little cube, right, for the cube map. Yeah, I don't know because no, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't render a tiny cube because very much so the vertex shader. I thought the vertex shader. Oh, interesting. I thought it had a special cube map vertex shader, which meant your cube was always rendered effectively in like normalized device coordinates, as in it kind of took up every, doesn't matter where you move the camera, it always rendered it in effectively a fixed position. But now I look at it, that doesn't seem to be the case. Yes, you might be right. Yes, it's something like that. But it definitely works. Or did work. Well, I mean, it's everything's using a projection matrix, yeah. But what I was saying is it didn't take into account like the view space. I can't remember. Hang on, let me just. So look. Where is the skybox material when it's at home? Skybox material does use the cube vert. That's it. It doesn't take. So it doesn't multiply by the model matrix. Let's have a look. Let's go to the ground truth. Let's go to the article I sampled this from originally. Because I think this is what I do. Yeah, we want the skybox to be centered around the player, so no matter how far the player moves, the skybox won't get any closer, giving the impression the surrounding environment is extremely large. The current view matrix, however, transforms all skyboxes' positions by rotating, scaling, and translating them, so if the player moves, the cube map moves as well. We want to remove the translation part of the view matrix, so only rotation will affect. That's it. So you basically slice off, you take the top 3x3 subset of the 4x4 matrix, which removes the translation component. So that's what we do. Okay, fine. So we do take into account the view, but only the rotation of the view. And then there is a optimization. Here you go, this is what I want. So to give us a slight performance boost, we're going to render the skybox last. Okay, fine. This way the depth buffer is completely filled. But do I still have the depth buffer after all that downsampling nonsense? Because my depth buffer will just be... I think the problem is my depth buffer is effectively flat because I'm rendering two quads stretched over the screen. I cannot think of a good way of doing this because I have to have downsampled at this point, right? Which means I have the full rendered scene with all the lighting calculations here, but here I'm just rendering over a sprite. Okay. Which will clear these two's depth buffers. Or this depth buffer. And I don't know if this... Do I need to blit the depth buffer over? Can I do that? I assume, can I... Oh, growing limbs this. Right here, can I do like GL depth buffer bit, right? Because I only clear the depth buffer of this, which means this might still work. Don't think so. Not confident. Oh, nailed it. I'm just lost in the negative space. Asaf, I have no idea what's going on. I barely understand the problem, but at least you're having fun. Okay, I think I'm on the right track. Okay, I clearly have. What have I changed? Have I, in my attempt to fix this, have I changed like 1,000 things? Well, that's not difficult to read at all. So I blit the depth buffer over. Oh, do I need to Do I? Is there like a depth attachment? Ugh, gross. I feel like I shouldn't need to do this because I say depth buffer bit, but... Or is it the depth buffer? No. I need the depth buffer for the right color attachment, don't I? So when I reset these, then I can blit it over. Yes. This'll work. Yes, my personal challenge, vow, I don't really know what the correct word is, sort of process for this is that I would like for the first release of the game, version 1.0, every line of code I wrote live. So that means I don't get to work on it offline and I don't get to cheat with AI. I think I've copied a small bit of shader code from another project that some random numbers that I generated once because I couldn't want to type them all out. But apart from that, I would assert that I've written every single line of code live. Oh, god damn it. Really thought I was going to throw a winner there. Right, I'm going to render doc this because I'm really curious what the state of those depth buffers is now. I really like red cake. Red velvet is my best cake. Refrigerator. Oh, I'm not Jonathan Blow. I take that for free. Ooh, Boost Tanner is complex. Okay. So here. So it has the depth buffer, right? This is the output from rendering this is over this. So why, and the input is this. So why? So I don't see. Okay, I could be wrong here. I don't see what rendering it to a separate buffer and combining them does over trying to just render it over the top. Because if you had two, right? If I had the full scene and then the cube map, how would I composite them? How would I know which bits are cube map and which ones are not? Presumably, I'd have to maintain some concept of depth or masked out bits or something like that. So if I have the depth buffer, why is the previous code not working when presumably it had that before? Although saying that, actually, what am I rendering? Over the top of? If it's bound this, Oh no, then don't I do want the depth masking, right? Add the colors together, and the depth buff will do the rest. But what's the difference between just rendering over the top with the existing depth buffer? Do you see what I mean? I don't understand the difference. Like, no, they're very rarely macros because you have to resolve them yourself, right? In fact, I have resolved these myself. This is I suppose that's a witness bad example because that's an early one, but all the others I've had to manually resolve myself. I think they're rarely macros. No, again, try and do as much from scratch as possible, so I've had to go and manually find them all myself. Start crash before calling away if you have more than 0 environment errors. Depends if you need them or not. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? What was that article saying? It was definitely something like, problem is that the skybox most likely ran on top of all the other objects since it's only 1 by 1 cube. Okay, fine. Succeeding most depth tests, simply running with we need to trick the depth buffer into believing that the skybox has the maximum value of 1, so it fails the depth test when there's an object in front of it. In the coordinate system chapter, so if I in here we go. Sorry. Wait a minute, where's this? Is this in which shader is this? Is this the cube map shader? Is he suggesting do projection times view? All right, and then do pause, and then do study. What was it? GL position equals pos dot xyww. One of my favorite swizzles. So let's make res. Let's start building that out, and then the other thing to do is go back to the renderer, and then for this I need to do. It says you need to change the depth function since L equals so L equal LS. How does one do that? Is it GL depth func? GL depth func. Nailed it. GLL equal. All right, let's try this. It's not. Yes, assets, cubevert. So partition text calls equals a imposition geoposition pos xy xyww. Got that. Got this. I think I understand what this is trying to do. I just don't understand why I've not done it. Depth. Oh, interesting. And it resets it there. Not that's going to be the issue, but I should keep it, at least keep it consistent. Okay. And then in the shaders, didn't I have the we have the shaders available somewhere. Cube skybox shader, vertex shader. That's what I got. Just make sure that ran again. Thoughts, feelings, anyone? Yeah, thanks. Well, I mean, it's not working. I might have to render this again. So annoying. I do feel this is the solution, and it will be more optimal as well, which is exciting. No, I'll figure it out. When am I coming back to I'm on Windows right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Right, let's get the doctor out. Yeah, it's Windows. WSL. And MSVC running under wine. Okay, fine. So we've still got the depth. So at the end of here, we now blit. So I've got the input depth and the output depth, and those will get blitted nicely. Yeah, so it's WSL, but I basically using it to build for Windows because I prefer the Linux dev environment, but I wanted to build everything for Windows. And yes, I know there's like ClangCL and MinGW and but this is the hill I've decided to die on. I'm getting a little bit lost with this now. I feel like this felt like an easy fix, but I feel like reality is fastly unraveling from around me. Like, why is this not rendering? What am I missing? Why is this not working? When I render this pipeline state vs view, I do me XYWW dance, which normalizes the thing, whatever, so the depth should always be like infinitely far. But what I think that does is it basically forces the depth to be infinitely far. So then when we render, we do less than or equal, which will make basically where anything there is infinite depth, we should put the skybox. per line above. What is it I'm trying to do? Okay, I'm trying to render the skybox, right? And avoid all the post-processing that I've got. I thought the solution was, hang on, was this, right? Where he basically says you can optimize the skybox by drawing it last. Okay. The depth buffer is completely filled with all the scene's depth values, so we only have to render the skybox fragments wherever the early depth test passes, greatly reducing the number of fragment shader calls. Also, there'll be nothing there. Is it because it's... Would it have filled it with a colour? No, ignore me. The problem is that the skybox will most likely render on top of all the other objects since it's only 1x1 cube, succeeding most depth tests. Simply rendering without depth testing is not a solution since the skybox will then still overwrite all the other objects in the scene as it's rendered last, which is what we had. We need to trick the depth buffer into believing that the skybox has the maximum depth value of 1 so that it fails the depth test wherever there's a different object in front of it, which is basically what I've got here, right? It should this here, this value here is the max depth. I don't know, you can't see it, hang on. Is depth 1, right? This here is very much not depth 1. This here is depth 1. So it should render over here. Yeah, I mean, so here it's 1, here it's 1, here it's not 1, okay? So that's fine. So I've got... Should I see... No, okay, fine. So that should be the depth buffer going in. In fact, we can see then output here. Yeah, this is the depth buffer going in. Okay, fine. So we render this, okay? In the coordinate system chapter, we said that perspective division is performed when the vertex shader is run, dividing the geo position XYZ by its Y component. We also know that the depth testing chapter, the Z component of the resulting division is equal to the vertex, blah, 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 blah. Using this information, we can set the Z component of the output position equal to its W component, which will result in a Z component that is always equal to 1. So when you render the skybox, it will basically just always output a depth of 1. Because when the perspective division is applied, W equals 1. Okay, so that makes sense to me. You're gonna trick the rendering of the cube map to basically always render at maximum distance. And then it says change the depth function to L less than or equal rather than to less than. So then we fill that. Well, I've checked. This is it. Like, I've done it, mate. I've changed it. Unless it's not here. Do I need to do this like at a different point? It's just a state machine, right? So presumably all operations after this will have the depth function set to l'equal. The draw call, that's in render doc. So it's this. What would you like to see? We might be able to just upload it to the shader, but I feel like this should work. Sorry, Haran, what do you want to see? So this is the draw call. Do you want to see, what do you want to see? The pixel history on the output color, yeah, sure. On one of these. Yeah, so that's this one, right? Yes, that should be skybox, but it's not. I feel like it's not, like the fragment shader's not running almost. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's not. because these are all frame buff blitz, right? It doesn't have the actual draw call in here. Unless those are prior to this. We should, I mean, bear in mind, like, the skybox is working. I didn't change any of the, apart from the shading, changing the swizzle, I just took the C++ code that rendered the skybox and I just moved it down. No, I'm not changing any of the materials or anything like that. Yeah, so because if we go here, like, we can see the history of all these, right? This the draw elements, blah 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 blah. I wonder if it's just to do with the way we're blitting it. I don't. Sure, we don't need to disable the depth mask though. Like, this is just enabled at the beginning. Interesting. I mean, I really don't think it's going to be G equal, right? Because how is it going to be greater or equal to 1? But I'm happy to try it. Yeah, we can go back to that. It was doing that, but I have tweaked another few bits and pieces, so we'll just... Yeah, let's just... what was it? GL... Disable... GL... depth? Is that the right rune? Because I could look what I had. GL depth mask GL false. Let's see what happens with that. Yes, we are rendering after multi-sample resolve. I don't know if that makes a difference. Ooh, interesting. So how do we... It's definitely something to do. So let's not blit over the frame buffer, the depth buffer. Let's try that. So what I'm doing is, Harand, is I'm taking the, because I still do the SSAO before this, I copy the depth, I blit the depth buffer as well over to the buffer I'm going to be using. So I don't know if there's something in the wiring up of that. Interesting. I thought that was causing us before to have it. I haven't done something stupid like turn the skybox off, have I? Oh no, because we can see the render call for it.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Even Alexa doesn't know how to help me with that. We definitely had it at some point where the skybox has been rendered over everything. So I'm trying to get back to that because I feel like that is going to lead us on the way. Strange, it was definitely that. I wonder what I was doing differently. Sorry, yeah, so you want to do what was the rune? Sorry, GL disable GL depth test. Is that it? Ah, yes, you're right. I wasn't binary buffer, so it was just a bug. Okay. Deeply grumpy. What? What is going on? I've nerd sniped Haran into putting down his game and helping me. There could be a lot of things that are wrong. Yes. Random guy. I'm inclined to agree with you. Okay, fine. So we got this. Gonna go GL36, right? So the input is this, the output is this. The mesh viewer sure is a cube mate. Yes. I don't know what I've done to wipe it out of existence. No, the read and write are both post-processing buffers, and we've had this bug before, and I have fixed it. They are both single sampled, which is why we downsample to it. Texture viewer. It's just blitz all the way down. It's not rendering it. But we've rendered this cube before. Like, it's definitely worked. I guess the only thing now is we're not taking out the translation element of it. The VS, it's got the camera that comes in, the fragment shader, it's got the texture cube, it's got a sampler, whatever. It has no uniform data because it doesn't need it. And then we just sample it. We just sample it. The cam buffer is very red because I think it's just to do with padding. I think this is technically padded to more bytes, but I just don't write over them. It's been like that since the start. I don't think that's the problem. Well, I am drawing the skybox last because everything after that is post-processing. So, like, everything after skybox is like HDR and grayscale and blur. So, and then the UI. So it is literally being drawn last. It gets technically after SSAO. Right, so it's got depth state enabled. But then you'd have more time to help us. That's fine. It shouldn't matter which order you call it in, right? It's a state machine, whether you what you set the function or not once you turned it off. I really don't think that's the issue. So I can't work out why it's not rendering. 155 looks like that, and 154 is depth buffer, I think. Oh, why is that? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. Right, what we could do is we could revert this, right, to go back to doing the non-translated thing. All right. I wonder if we could then just set the Z component to be 1. This might be a problem for Sunday, which is a little bit anticlimactic after we had such a win at the beginning, but we've got to keep grinding out these issues until it's done. That's just the way the project works. We'll keep on grinding. Yeah, no worries. I'm sure we'll get it figured. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it. Good luck. Right. So there's that. So if we revert some of this mess. There's an approximation of the code on Git, but it's a little bit outdated. Like it doesn't have like the coroutine based render systems, game loop and stuff like that. I do need to find some time to update it, but I just so yeah, if someone could write, I think is it bang source, bang code, bang Git, something like that. Okay, so that's still like that, which I think is what we expected. So if I do, can I just do GL position pos dot xy is that? Do I need to combine those? Is the article wrong? Oh, I need to rebuild the resources. Right, last try. Last thing, and then I will commit up some whatever state it's in, and then we'll figure out on Sunday. I feel like it's not too far off. Okay. Yeah, maybe. You could be right. What a relief. What a relief. I mean, there's quite a lot to it, but we got there in the end. OpenGL, learnomgl.com, trash. Don't know what they're talking about. Leave me on a wild goose chase. I think I'm most impressed with how good the ceiling looks now. Like it looks like it's got depth to it, whereas before it was very flat. It's amazing how much realism like SSAO applies. I do think we probably need to blur it. It's a little bit artifacty. But from a distance, it looks pucker. I had to set basically the end result was to continue rendering the cube how I had rendered it a priori, but force the depth value it writes out to always be 1, and then change the depth function to be less than or equal to. So basically on the previous scene, where we've rendered everything out, anything that was in the distance would have a depth of 1. And then when you come to fill in the cube map, anywhere which had a depth of 1, i.e. infinitely far away, it would then put the cube map there. So it's effectively compositing them. Let's do that, yes. So fix cube map in a post SSAO world. Am I going to do a build? Probably not. So we want to finish fixing off the lighting. Okay, so let me make a note of what we need to do for next time. Steady. Get. Where's project? New game release? I can't remember, I stuck all the... Oh, here we go. Projects. So... I say I am tempted to say SSAO is done, and then because it gives me warm fuzzy feeling inside to move stuff to the right, and then we'll create a new ticket to blur it, because I don't think like blurring it is not required. It obviously makes it a little bit better, but I'd say the core technique is kind of done. So I'm gonna move that over. So the next things to add are like fix all. Oh, hang on, no, is it fix all normal map? That's definitely something we need to fix. Oh god, I really hate how much clicking is involved in this. Blur SSAO. And I do want to as well, I know it's not the most important thing, but I do want to refactor renderer, just because it's just a bit of a mess with all this. I don't think it's a lot of work to do. I think all it really needs doing is there's a lot of duplicate code in the post-processing pipeline, and like it keeps rebinding and binding and unbinding like the sprite mesh. It just doesn't need to do that at all. Just bind it once at the beginning of the pipeline. So I think it just needs to just pull out into some like helper functions. I really don't think it's going to take too long. So we got fix all normal map, blur the SSAO, refactor the renderer. Then we've got to make the barrel steady. Make the barrels respect the walls, because the moment they'll clip through them. Bloom question mark, undecided if I'm going to do that yet. And then we need to do I'll tell you what I must do actually is make SSAO shader respect window size, because it's hard coded at the moment. It's just a reminder to me of a bear trap waiting to happen. So it's full screen, it looks like shit. Arguably part of handling full screen, but anyway, make the game borderless, figure out a release build, package up the resources, do some system info for the logging, levels, ship it. Probably not going to do that. And then we're done. We're done, mate. Completed it. Oh, there's something else we need to do actually. Save game? Question mark. Unsure if we're going to need that, or whether you just sort of start from the beginning. And there's something else I thought of is config options. So going in and out full screen, changing the resolution, turning off SSAO, changing the MSAA depth. Like there's a few things we need to do around that. Oh, level codes. Undecided. We'll see how we get to, but there will need to be some mechanical change to it. I'm not going to do build because I can't bother, and I'll forget to upload it. But we'll try and do it when all the graphical stuff is kind of tidied up. So DSA, so we're using DSA, but you still have to bind the frame buffer to render to. What it does alleviate is some of the other state changing code, or we basically do it via named. You don't bind stuff to sort of random ephemeral like state things. You can directly bind into the object that you've got, but you still have to say which frame buffer you're going to bind to. Render to, sorry. At least that's my understanding of it. I was kind of figuring out DSA as I went along with this. Yes, beer time. I'm gonna hang around for a bit on Discord, probably. I'm not an expert. I don't do this professionally, well, at least not game dev professionally, so I often get things wrong or mistake them. But it's coming along nicely now. I think with the slightly tarted up graphics, like the textures could probably do with a little bit of love, but with the tarted up graphics, the physics engine, the character controller, and the sound, it actually feels like a game, which is incredible. Because before it felt like a tech demo. It's actually starting to feel like it's all coming together now. I should probably toggle the. Tell you what, that is something I'm gonna. You can't see it, but I'm adding toggle debug lines. That'd be useful to toggle on and off. Yes, thank you, Killer 9000 in brackets Panda. That was what I was very poorly trying to articulate. Right, I've had a great time. I hope you had a good time. We'll do it all again Sunday. We'll do something. It'll be fun. We'll see you all then.